In 1987, in the depths of the Appalachian Mountains, 84 residents of Millbrook Village lived their normal lives. Post office, school, church, a normal American town. But in 1988, one night, 84 people completely vanished. Houses remained, cars in garages, meals on tables, but the people? None of them ever returned. However, 35 years later, a cartographer working on digital maps noticed that Millbrook's GPS coordinates showed nothing but empty woodland. Marcus Rodriguez was a 28-year-old map technician. He worked at USGS, converting every corner of America into digital maps. It was routine work. He would take old paper maps, verify GPS coordinates, and cross-reference them with satellite imagery. His task that day was to map the remote corners of West Virginia. Among the old files piled on his desk, he found a 1987 file labeled Millbrook Village Population 84. He entered the coordinates into his computer, 37.2431 degrees north, 81.8143 degrees west. When the satellite image loaded, his brow furrowed. The GPS coordinates showed nothing but empty woodland, not a single house, not a single road, not a single building, just trees and brush. Marcus had been doing this job for years. Sometimes old maps could be wrong, coordinate errors, typos, but having an entire village of 84 people shown at completely wrong coordinates was strange. He checked satellite images from different years. 1985, 1987, 1990, 1995. None of them showed any settlement at those coordinates. Just dense forest. Marcus began researching Millbrook Village's official records. He checked the postal code, never assigned, telephone exchange records, never established, electric company connections, never made. How could a village of 84 people have existed without leaving any trace? Marcus reported the anomaly he found to his supervisor. A day later, 2 men in suits came to his office. "Mr. Rodriguez, are you researching Millbrook?" "Just routine data verification." "I see. But there are certain, let's say, sensitivities regarding these files." "What do you mean?" "We suggest you stop working on this village." "Why?" "Sometimes there are errors in old records. Correcting them is our job." The men deleted the Millbrook files from Marcus's computer. But Marcus was a curious person. When he went home, he couldn't let the matter go. That evening, he began researching on the internet. When he searched Millbrook Village, West Virginia, only one result came up. In an old forum post, a woman was looking for her family. Sarah Mitchell, looking for family, lost in Millbrook Village, 1988. Marcus found Sarah Mitchell's contact information and wrote to her, explaining he was a map technician at USGS and had interesting findings about Millbrook Village. Sarah replied to Marcus the next day. For the first time in 35 years, someone knew about Millbrook. 2 days later, they met in Washington. Marcus opened his laptop and showed the GPS coordinates. These are the coordinates where Millbrook was supposedly located. But look, the screen showed an image of empty forest. "This is impossible," Sarah gasped. "I was born there. I grew up in that village." According to official records, Millbrook Village never existed. Sarah was 7 years old that night. On that August night in 1988, she was with her family in Millbrook Village. Mother, father, little brother, Tommy. It was a normal evening. They were watching TV, drinking tea. But at midnight, she heard strange sounds. Outside, there were big trucks, helicopter sounds. When she tried to look out the window, her mother caught her. "Sarah, go to your room and don't come out." Sarah went to her room but couldn't sleep. The sounds outside continued for hours. helicopters, truck engines, men talking loudly. When morning came, she was alone in the house. Mother, father, Tommy. None of them were there. The entire village was empty. 84 people had disappeared in one night. Sarah hadn't told this story to anyone for 35 years because nobody believed her. She told how trucks came, big military trucks. Men went house to house, said it was temporary evacuation for security reasons, loaded people onto buses. Families seemed to be deliberately separated. Sarah was taken by that bus to a place, a big building. It was like a hospital, but not a hospital. It was like a laboratory. There were doctors. They examined her, took blood, gave injections. Then she didn't remember. 3 days later, she woke up alone at home. Sarah shook her head. She never saw her family again. It was as if they had been erased from the world. Marcus opened his computer and showed Sarah his other findings. He opened a map on the screen. 3 points were marked on it. He had found 2 more villages like Millbrook, Harmony Creek, Idaho, 76 people disappeared in 1985. Clearwater Falls, Montana, 91 people disappeared in 1983. Sarah was shocked. Marcus opened other files. Jennifer Walsh from Idaho remembered the last night of Harmony Creek when she was 9. Michael Torres from Montana, the sole survivor from Clearwater Falls when he was 11. All the same story: helicopters, trucks, forced evacuation. This was a systematic operation. Marcus's phone rang. He was urgently called from USGS. The line went dead. Marcus gave Sarah a flash drive. It contained everything: coordinates, witness names, documents. Sarah needed to stay safe. At the USGS office, the same 2 men were waiting. "Mr. Rodriguez, we meet again." "What do you want?" "Simple, stop your research." "These matters are sensitive, Mr. Rodriguez, about old operations." "What operations?" "There were some federal programs in the 80s, community engineering experiments. 3 pilot villages were selected." Marcus's stomach turned. "Did you use people as test subjects?" "Most voluntarily participated in the relocation program." "What about those who didn't?" The man's expression didn't change. "Everyone participated." When Marcus got home, Sarah called. She said men had come to her house wanting to relocate her too. She had escaped and wasn't safe. Marcus suggested she send the flash drive to the media. Sarah opened the files on the flash drive. It contained USGS reports, GPS anomalies, witness lists. But the most shocking was an old CIA document. Operation Mindbridge Community Behavioral Modification Program. The document detailed phases: site selection, environmental control, behavioral assessment, memory integration, and population relocation. The complete list of 3 villages was there. Millbrook, WV, 84 residents. 1988, Harmony Creek, ID, 76 residents. 1985. Clearwater Falls, MT, 91 residents. 1983. Sarah's family was living in Portland, Oregon under the names Nancy, Michael, and James Rodriguez. Sarah gathered courage and called her mother Nancy Rodriguez. "Nancy Rodriguez?" "Yes." Sarah couldn't breathe. After 35 years, her mother's voice. I'm Sarah." "Sarah? Who's Sarah?" "Mom, try to remember. Millbrook Village, 1988. Millbrook." Nancy's voice changed. "Why do I know this word?" "Because that was our home." "Oh my God, Sarah, my little girl." That night, Sarah flew to Portland. After 35 years, she reunited with her mother. Nancy had aged, her hair was gray. But when she saw Sarah, she recognized her. "My baby, my little girl." They hugged. After 35 years, Nancy's eyes became cloudy. Injections, then everything became blurry. A new life, new name, new past. Sarah called her brother Tommy. At first, Tommy said he didn't have a sister, but when he heard the name Mr. Rabbit, he was shocked. When Sarah reminded him she had given that name, Tommy began to cry. He heard that name in his dreams. Meanwhile, Marcus had sent the files to WikiLeaks. 2 days later, the news broke. Breaking, classified documents reveal 15-year government mind control experiments on American communities. The news spread worldwide. Congress began an investigation. The FBI started investigating old operations. Most importantly, village residents whose memories had been scrambled began to remember. Tommy called Sarah after seeing the news, asking if she was really his sister and saying he was beginning to remember Millbrook. But they couldn't find Father Michael Chen. Seattle police investigated. The Michael Chen identity had died 3 years ago. Heart attack. Without ever remembering his real identity as David Williams. 6 months later, congressional hearings began. Sarah was called as a witness. She was questioned about the serious allegations of 3 villages and 251 people disappearing. Her response to whether her being 7 years old threatened national security was met with applause. After Sarah's testimony, other village residents began to speak. Jennifer Walsh came from Idaho, Michael Torres from Montana. Dozens of witnesses. All details of Operation Mindbridge were exposed. 1 year later, Sarah founded a foundation, Lost Communities Foundation. It helped missing village residents find their families. Marcus left USGS and began working at the foundation. He continued using GPS data to find lost communities. Survivors were found among most residents of the 3 villages. Families reunited. Their memories slowly returned. But Marcus's research showed there could be more. Maybe 5, maybe 10 similar villages. Sarah's last phone conversation was with Marcus. He told her he had found a new anomaly in New Mexico. Sunset Ridge, 67 people disappeared in 1981. There was a witness named Emma Watson living in Denver, but she had been silent for 35 years out of fear. Sarah looked out the window. A normal neighborhood, normal houses, normal families. But now she knew that some normalcy was deceptive. They had found 3 villages, but Marcus's research showed there were more. Maybe 8, maybe 10 lost communities. Operation Mindbridge was just the beginning. Marcus's research showed more lost communities existed. Operation Mindbridge was just the beginning. Sarah was ready. She had searched alone for 35 years. Now she had a team. Hundreds of survivors, dozens of researchers, a foundation. They would continue until everyone who was lost was found. They would fight for every lost village, every erased community, every destroyed identity. Because no one truly disappeared. They just waited to be found.